and they are trying to capture their third road series of the year. How far ahead of the pace from last year? Well, they didn't win their third road series last season until mid-June when they swept the Giants at AT&T. So a victory tonight would make that the day off tomorrow that much sweeter in San Diego. Here are the pitchers tonight. For the Rockies, Jordan Lyles will go. He's given them great length. He's 2-1, a sub-3 ERA. The league not doing much offensively against him. He is in a really good place. And the axe thrower, Josh Colmenter from that small town in northern Michigan, doesn't throw hard, but he's very difficult typically to hit, especially for right-handed batters. For more on the uniqueness of Colmenter's delivery and much more, we go to my partner who's out in the bullpen right now, Jeff Houston. Jeff?
All right, thanks, Drew. I'm out here in the bullpen today because I want to show you what it's going to be like for the hitters tonight. Normally, when we talk about the window that a pitcher throws from, we talk about the low three quarters. So this is what a hitter normally sees. This is the arm action, but tonight it's going to be much different because we have Josh Colmenter on the mound. We talk about him being the axe thrower. That means he grew up in Homer, Michigan. He learned how to throw, throwing axe, so his arm action is much more pronounced, over the top. See where that ball's coming out of compared to the other guys, low three quarters. I want to show you what it looks like from the hitter's perspective. I told you a moment ago, low three quarters is somewhere in this area, so you're used to seeing the ball coming out of here, seeing the flight of the ball the whole way. I'll demonstrate as the pitcher comes up, he starts his motion home and throws. Tonight, it's going to be different, though, because we have Josh Colmenter, as I mentioned, 6'5", throws way over the top. See the difference in the window? One's here, the other one's here. So tonight, as he comes into his windup, pauses, and then comes over the top. It's going to be much more difficult to pick it up, even though on average he only throws 84 miles an hour, Drew.
No, he does not throw hard, but he's been very effective. So it's Lyles and Colmenter, the Rockies, trying to take 2 or 3 from Arizona. Come on back with us. Final game, rubber game of this 3-game set between the Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks inside Chase Field. Third meeting of 19 this year. The Rockies in the midst of 25 straight inside the NL West so far. They are 7-7 against the NL West. Josh Colmenter, a good view of his delivery that Jeff just took you through. The roof is open. I cannot remember 3 straight days that the roof has been open, but the temperature has been quite pleasant here in the latter part of April. Well, the swing of Charlie Blackmon has been quite pleasant. 305 batting average. He has really heated up. His on-base percentage above 360. He scored 11 runs this year. Charlie has hit in his last 5 ball games, in fact. Southwest batting order for the Rockies. Walt Weiss will have Corey Dickerson batting second. Tulo will bat third. Then Morneau, speaking of heating up. Nolan Arenado. Cargo. Nick Hundley doing the catching. He's been swinging the bat very well. Daniel Descalso will give a rare break to the Rockies' outstanding second baseman DJ LeMahieu, and Jordan Lyles will pitch naturally and bat ninth. More on Mr. Colmenter making his 5th start of the year. He already has a complete game, Huey.
Well, and that is the only complete game shutout in the National League this year. That was against San Francisco back on the 17th of April. 4 hits in that ball game, 7 strikeouts. His ERA at home, yeah, it's 5.74. Does not have an ERA out on the road. So add those two together, that's where you get the 3.65.
And you have to note that the league is hitting .302 against him, despite the fact that he did have that shutout against the Giants. Defensively, Peralta and Ciarte's in the middle tonight. Mark Trumbo. So A.J. Pollock getting a rest. Yasmani Tomas, Chris Owings. Well, Chris Owings can't play both second and short. Nick Ahmed's going to play short. It'd be very difficult, a lot to ask for Chris to play both positions. And our good friend, Jordan Pacheco, is behind the plate. So Jordan flashes a sign, and the first pitch of the ball game is in there, strike one. And you see 83 miles an hour. You say, whoa, did you throw a change up there? No.
Not a mistake.
He does not throw hard. In fact, maybe Mark Burley is the only guy that throws on a regular basis softer than Colmenter.
Well, and also Chris Young. Those two guys, their fastball clocked lower than Josh Colmenter. Colmenter's third. And you're wondering, 83, 84. The National League average on a fastball is 91.6.
Colmenter works quickly, 0-2, and he strikes him out on a fastball.
And that's the pitch you have to lay off. It looks great. Your eyes light up, but you can't hit it, no matter what the speed is. So you have to gear down in the zone. You have to think going from mid-thigh, even down to their ankles, is going to be an easier pitch to hit.
Corey Dickerson steps in. He's 2 for 7 lifetime against Josh Colmenter. Rockies have guys that have been successful against Colmenter. Actually, Blackmon, one of them. He was 5 for 10 prior to that at bat. An occasional overhand curveball, and that's in there for a strike. Blake Doyle implored his guys before the ball game in their hitters meeting, stay off, sit on the fastball and stay off the high fastball, because that's what he wants. He's trying to induce swings out of the zone up. It's kind of like Chris Young works.
Right, and Chris Young is when he was in his prime. Now he throws softer than Colmenter, but he would still get a lot of strikeouts at 87, 88 miles an hour. That looked like they were coming in at 95. Chris Young a little bit taller in the 6'10" range, 6'11".
Colmenter's always around the zone. He does not walk people. There's that high fastball. And you have to swing at when you get 2 strikes, because it's always seemingly at the top of that zone, a borderline strike.
And how many times do we talk about pitchers? Oh, you got to pitch down in the zone. You have to pitch down in the zone. Well, Colmenter's probably the complete opposite of that he pitches up in the zone more than anybody.
This is fought off, and it could drop fair. It dropped, but it was foul by a couple of feet. 92 degrees, our game time temperature.
Well, struggled early in his last start to Josh Colmenter. This is a game against Pittsburgh, but see where that pitch was. It was more at the belt than up at the letters, and that's why Pittsburgh teed off on him. And that was a game at home. As I mentioned, 0-3 at home with the 536 or 574 on the road, 1-0.
Well, he's thrown 7 pitches, all of them been in strikes. Usually you think of a guy who throws in the mid-80s ago, he's going to nibble.
No, he'll attack because he doesn't walk anybody. He has not had more than 2 walks in his last 19 straight games.
There's the difference, home and road. Kind of turned that one over, Huey, didn't he?
And that's what he'll get with that arm action that I demonstrated, that he can turn it over because he's coming up over the top. It's just a release and just a slight twist of the wrist at the end. This is a great look of the motion from Cole Mentor.
And he gets the chase from Dickerson. That was well out of the zone. 2 up and 2 strikeouts for Cole Mentor.
And these are the ones, as you're going back to the dugout, you're cussing yourself. You're just saying, wait a second, why did I just swing at that?
He'd had to get on a trampoline to hit that. Well, I know we've seen him. If there's one guy who could probably hit that pitch, it's Dickerson. But even by his standards, that was extraordinarily high.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
High curveball. That's the first pitch out of the zone by Cole Mentor. 2 outs. Tulowitzki has more or less struggled with Cole Mentor. 4 for 17. Right there, because that's a fastball that he swung through, and it almost appeared that he was late. That's why Blake Doyle imparted to his guys, sit on the fastball, because if you try to sit on the changeup, obviously it's hard to catch up, even if it's mid-80s, to the fastball. Good job by Troy.
That's
a good take.
That's the first one of the first 3 hitters that they've been able to lay off. And you wonder, how often does he throw his fastball? About 70% of the time.
Threw a changeup there and it missed away. Three and 1 on Troy. 2 outs in the top of the first. And that ball is ripped to left, and it's going to run to the wall. And Tulowitzki's going to have yet another double. His 11th here in the opening month of the season.
51 now for the Rockies. They came into the game leading the Dodgers by 5. They'll up that to 6. And this is a tomahawk fastball. Up, but he see how he drives the top hand over to make sure he gets on top of that ball. It's not a looping swing. It's coming down on that and hitting it hard.
And now perhaps the Rockies' hottest hitter, Justin Morneau. 3 hits last night. He's hitting 7 straight, 4 straight with multiple hits. And that fastball in the outside corner. So it's 481 during this hot streak.
Well, and hitting it all over the place. We've seen home runs here. We've seen doubles. Hits to left, hits to right.
And a good changeup. Cole Mentor came up as a starter a couple years ago. He worked 91 innings, led the National League in innings by a reliever, and he went back in the rotation last year and had a great year. Did he hold up? Yep. Checked it out at third with Mark Wegner. Marty Foster, by the way, is behind home plate. Mike Belinsky's at first and Mike Winters at second.
Strong wrist to hold up. A lot of body. That's pretty close, but he just didn't bring the barrel around far enough. I've seen third base umpires call that a check swing.
I don't know how they can tell with the naked eye. To me, it's a flip of the coin sometimes. Inciarte in center, shaded toward left center, and playing very shallow, especially for a big bat like the one Morneau possesses. 2 outs, Tulo at second.
You mentioned Cole Mentor bouncing back and forth between the rotation. And then in the bullpen, think back to 2011, he was 5th in the National League in Rookie of the Year voting. I mean, that's how impressive he was his rookie season.
And this is fouled off. Well, I'll tell you something else about Colmenter that may catch you by surprise. His career ERA of 3.17 at Chase Field is second best in club history. This is a team that's had Randy Johnson's, had Curt Schilling's, had Dan Herron. The only guy he trails is Randy Johnson. He's ahead of Brandon Webb. He's ahead of Curt Schilling. He's ahead of Herron.
Should say Hall of Fame pitcher Randy Johnson.
You're right, Hall of Fame pitcher Randy Johnson. Going in this summer. 2-2. And a bouncing ball to second, and it goes under the glove of Owings, who is way out on the grass and this did not make the play.
And this happens because he's so far deep onto the grass. When he went to make this play, he makes the error because it hits right at the lip of the dirt in the grass. Watch this last bounce right there. See how it stayed down? It hit off the lip. It didn't come up as high as he thought it was going to. That's the danger of playing so deep.
Yeah, watch it accelerate. It's a great view of it. So that will allow Arenado to hit here with first and third in the top of the first. Rockies, when they won on Monday night, jumped out to a 3-0 lead on a Morneau 3-run homer. Not that it's unusual, because it seems like a nightly occurrence, but he had great work in the cage tonight. His batting practice was outstanding.
He's really thinking up the middle.
Like that. Get down, and it will. Base hit. Tulowitzki will score. The Rockies take advantage of the miscue, and Arenado with his 13th RBI, and just as you called it, he stayed right in the middle of the field.
And 7 of the 13 RBIs have come with 2 outs. And that's what he worked on in batting practice almost on every swing. If it was away, he dropped the head, travel the length of the bat, catch it even off the end, still strong enough to dump it into center.
It was such a great job tracking the baseball. And now Cargo, who has outstanding numbers against Colmenter, 5 for 12 with 2 lifetime home runs. And this ball's lined to right. Trumbo's going to be able to get there, though. So Cargo gave it a ride. In the inning, the Rockies, a little 2-out rally. They take a 1-0 lead.
Last night, when Carlos Gonzalez was up against Archie Bradley and 115 miles an hour off his bat, that line drive caught Bradley. Bradley obviously had to come out of the game. He is on the 15-day DL. But Archie Bradley feels blessed today. How he feels. He feels well. Cargo's right in front of me. He, of course, was really upset after that happened and emotional. And Cargo reached out to Archie Bradley. And what happened last night was Cargo actually called Ender Inciarte, who's a friend of his from Maracaibo. And Drew, you told the story last night. Ender gave him Archie Bradley's number, and he called Archie Bradley just to make sure that he was well. Bradley was back here at the stadium last night, and he was here today. He had a press conference. He said that he went to an ENT, an ear, nose, and throat specialist. All he has is a small fracture in his sinus. As this is off of Arenado, it's going to be a base hit. So here's what he said about Cargo reaching out to him.
He texted me or texted Ender. And then got my number and, told me, how sorry he was and how it kind of ruined his night. And, he can't stop thinking about it. And I told him, I was like, it's baseball. We know we're getting ourselves into. It wasn't you didn't do it on purpose. It's just part of the game. I told him, I appreciate him reaching out. And he's just like, well, I just want you to know, you're a superstar in the making. I hope this doesn't affect your career at all. Just want you to know I'm praying for you. So I told him thanks. I just thought it was a really classy move for him to reach out to me.
So, Drew and Jeff, just to continue, this fracture in his sinus is so small, the doctor said, we don't want to do any surgery on it. It'll heal itself better. And if this were a postseason situation, they said that he potentially could be pitching this weekend. So he's going to throw sooner rather than later. He is on the DL. But an amazing play last night, an amazing story, and glad that Bradley is okay.
A great result to one of the scariest things I've witnessed in a baseball game. And I'm amazed, Jeff, as Chris Owings pops this up. I'm absolutely amazed, and I think all of you who witnessed it last night are as well, that there wasn't more significant injury. And Cargo today, we chatted with him, and he was smiling. He was so thankful that everything was okay.
Well, and as I mentioned in last night's broadcast, we're in a fraternity. We're in a baseball fraternity. Yeah, he's wearing a different uniform. That doesn't matter. We all realize how short careers can be and how they can change in a heartbeat. And last night, was a prime example. If that's half an inch here, half an inch there, you don't know what the outcome's going to be. Thank goodness he's okay though.
Paul Goldschmidt with a topspin line drive to left, 2 on and 1 out. Goldschmidt, they're going to have to start walking him pretty soon. His numbers against the Rockies are absurd.
Or just tell him what's coming, and then he'll play with his mind.
Well, after the game, as Mark mentioned, I'm equally surprised by this as well, that he was able to leave the hospital and come to the ballpark. He tweeted out, pretty ugly, huh? In all seriousness, though, thanks for the text, tweets, and prayers. Could have been a lot worse. #lucky. Yes, he was. And again, he was placed on the 15-day disabled list. Another reliever, Enrique Burgos, was brought up. But bottom line is Bradley is going to be fine physically, and then honestly, he'll have to get over the mental hurdles, just like we watched Juan Nicasio a couple of years ago when he was hit in the head when he gets back on the mound. Oh, beautiful move by Lyles, inside move. Oh, the throw hits the runner, and that's going to tie up the game. In fact, ending up at third is Goldschmidt. Inciarte was picked off, and then the throw ended up hitting him in the back, and it cost the Rockies a run. They would have had their second out. An error on Daniel Descalso. You've been in that situation.
Yeah,
it's not really a rundown, but you got to clear a lane, don't you?
Right, and that's what Daniel. It didn't look like he did. And the other thing that happens is the base runner, when you know you're picked off, you start to go more on the inside. But that was just a bad throw, because he has him and he has enough lane to throw, and then catches him in the back of the helmet. Good inside move. Yeah, it's just, if he throws it to Nolan's right, he's got him. Easy tag.
Infield in. Trumbo bounces this one up the middle. It's a base hit. And just like that, Arizona has a 2-1 lead. unfortunate couple of events there. Southwest batting order for Chip Hale tonight. You've seen the first four. David Peralta will be next. Yasmani Tomas. Jordan Pacheco will bat seventh, the former Rocky. And Nick Ahmed at shortstop batting eighth in front of Cole Mentor. Trumbo and Goldschmidt, they've absolutely killed the Rockies the last couple of years, and in this series in particular. Rockies couldn't get him out last night. Peralta's another guy that's been a thorn in their side going back to last year, and he had a two-run home run yesterday. One other note on the inside move by Jordan Lyles. In a perfect world, he probably shouldn't have thrown the baseball behind him and run at Inciarte, no?
Well, he could have done that. He had two choices, and I don't think either one of them is going to be bad. If he raises his leg and then starts to run at him, get him going back to second, and then you could release the ball there. But there was still time to get the base runner.
Three and one. Lyles knows that it's been a strange first inning already, and he has to focus in on keeping a two-run inning as opposed to letting it wander out of control. 3 and 1 on a dangerous guy, David Peralta, with Trumbo at first. Quick look at the Rockies' gloves. Blackman in the middle of Cargo to his left and Dickerson to his right. Arenado and Tulowitzki, Descalso for LeMahieu. Morneau at first. Nick Hundley is behind the plate. DJ not getting the start because Walt was looking for an opportunity. As hard as he said it is to sit him down right now, he's leading baseball in hitting. He was trying to find a spot. And DJ also, there goes Trumbo. Great throw.
Ball four.
There's ball four. Never mind. They were trying to get an opportunity to get LeMahieu an extra day off. And LeMahieu lifetime 0 for 10 against Josh Coleman. So that factors in a little bit in Walt's decision to try to get another lefty in the lineup.
Well, and the other thing, too, against Coleman, lefties are hitting 362 against him. Just 211 for right-handed hitters. So that all factors in on how and why Walt put the lineup together that he did today.
Yasmani Tomas. And he takes high, ball one.
We have a good double play candidate in Tomas at the plate. Doesn't run well. Just get the ball down, get that league leading double play, and get out of this inning.
I don't know if this is hit hard enough. Troy takes it himself, and Troy got it done. A 6-3 double play as you asked for, but in the inning, a little sloppy play on defense cost the Rockies ultimately at least one, if not two runs. And it's 2-1 Arizona as we go to the second inning. your hometown Toyota stores. Let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. 2-1 in Chase Field, Arizona leading. The Rockies will have the bottom third of their lineup against Josh Colmenter in the second. Nick Hundley, Descalso, Lyles. Nick also with some moments against Colmenter, 5 for 11 with a home run. Nick's riding a 6-game hitting streak. Everybody talked about what he'd provide this staff and an upgrade defensively. Well, Nick is finishing up what's been a terrific month offensively.
He's in the top 5 for line drive percentage of balls in play. A little over 36%. Very simple approach in the box.
One and two on Hundley. And there's that high fastball. Look throughout the night while Colmenter's in there in that forward strike zone. You'll see a litter of pitches up. Throws that curveball only about 7% of the time.
It's more of a show me curveball. I'll show you the first couple pitches. And for Josh Colmenter, we've referenced how often he throws his fastball, but it's getting hit hard. Changeup not as much, and then just a couple curveballs sprinkled in.
Two, and this could be a problem. Colmenter off the mound. Hundley safe at first. Nick for a catcher runs pretty well. High school defensive back. Athletic guy. So Hundley with a little 20-foot squib hit, he'll take it.
He'll take those swinging bunts any day of the week. You look at the box score tomorrow, it's a knock. And it hit off that soft area in front of home plate that they water down heavily. Just throw another hit out there, Nick.
7-game hitting streak now. Descalso at the plate. And Daniel hits it in the air to right. Trumbo will make the catch. So that'll bring up Jordan Lyles.
Number 24, Jordan Lyles.
Showed the graph with the, or we showed you the graph with the fastball average. He throws it about 70% of the time. But the league this year is really hitting his fastball so far. 324 average, almost 100 points higher than how they performed against it last year. And look at 2013, just a 215 average.
That's because he was throwing 87.5 miles an hour. So that made it seem like it was 96 miles an hour on the fastball. And then in 2014, 238, as you said, his velocity had gone down into the high 85, just below 86. So it's trending downward. The velo is.
This is not automatic bunt with Lyles at the plate. He pulls it back, slug bunt on, and he lines it into right field, but it's tracked down nicely by Chris Owings. That's a terrific play by Owings with the runner going, and it's an easy double play. So Hundley is doubled off. He had no shot. He was already to third. 2-1 Arizona. Houston and Mark Stout. I'm Drew Goodman, top of the order. Well, let me correct that. Actually, Pacheco will lead things off. Got to flip my book around. Jordan Pacheco will lead things off here in the second inning. Innings pitched. No home runs allowed. Our Hyundai League leaders. Jordan Lyles has gone 25 2/3, second only to Max Scherzer. Adam Wainwright obviously out for the year. Archie Bradley on that list as well.
Scherzer's supposed to miss his next start with the sprained thumb.
Good slider, and it's 0-1 on the former New Mexico star, Jordan Pacheco. Jordan being able to get together with a lot of his old teammates and good friends with the Rockies in town the last several days. 0-2 on Pacheco. On Sunday, when the Diamondbacks were shut out by the Bucks 8-0 and held to 3 hits, Jordan had one of those 3 hits. And he got him on a slider. Good sequence there by Jordan Lyles.
Easier when you're ahead in the count.
Rockies fans, you can join the conversation all season long. Send us your thoughts, photos, and questions via your favorite social media platform. Use the hashtag Toyota Talk, and we'll show some of your Toyota Talk comments throughout the game. Nick Ahmed, who's played very good defense but has struggled with the bat thus far, just a 132 average, steps up. He won a minor league Gold Glove last year.
He only has 1 error this year. 10 straight games he has not made an error. He had 312 in Reno a year ago.
At the bottom of the zone, 2-1.
Well, man, it's the same recruiting class at UConn with Scott Oberg.
Had a lot of talent at UConn during that period. George Springer. Hard on the ground, too low, like a vacuum on the backhand side. Two gone, and that'll bring up Cole Mentor.
Pitcher number 55, Josh Mentor.
Josh, very popular with the media. He's a very outgoing personality. In fact, has a strong interest in potentially getting involved in the political arena when his career is done. And he chops this to third. And Arenado will throw him out. Good strong inning in the second for Jordan Lyles. Just 8 pitches. 2-1 as we go to the third. Rockies will have the top of the lineup when we return to Chase Field. This is the view today from center field at Oriole Park. That was a tweet from MLB.com, and because of the unrest in Baltimore, you know, it was much calmer, thankfully, last night, but the game between the Orioles and White Sox was moved up to this afternoon, and you probably heard this yesterday, played without any fans. And so it looked odd, it sounded odd. If you caught any of the quote-unquote highlights, the Orioles won the game 8-2.
Last I saw, there were 3 scouts in the stands, and that was it.
So no line to go buy a hot dog, but you probably couldn't buy a hot dog.
No concessions.
No concessions. And I guess some of the players had fun with it, you know, pretending to sign autographs and toss it
a ball up into the stands.
Third out, you know. Blackman takes outside, 1-1. Orioles, in fact, scored 6 in the bottom of the first inning. Read this tweet in a moment. That ball is pulled to first, and Goldschmidt will take it himself. One out. Corey Dickerson will come up. Stay strong, Baltimore. Stay safe. Continue to be the great city I've known and loved the 8 years I've been here. That from Adam Jones, superstar of the Baltimore Orioles.
That's got a special place in my heart. Played 2 years for Baltimore, 95, 96. Of course, a great game with Cal Ripken, breaking Lou Gehrig's record I was a part of. So it's a special place. I just hope everything's okay there. And as you mentioned, things are starting to calm down.
Dickerson takes outside. There have been some notable athletes that have stepped forward to be leaders. Ray Lewis being one, Adam Jones. Change up at the bottom of the zone, 1-1. Dickerson struck out on a pitch that was 11 feet high in the first inning.
I'm not sure.
Would rally with 2 outs for a run.
I don't think a stepladder would have helped.
He needed a fire engine ladder. He got a pitch to hit there. He worked under it a little bit, and in center field, Enciarte will make the catch. 2 gone. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more runs in any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. Last night, with the Diamondbacks scoring 12 runs, that is a season high for them. They had been offensively challenged over the previous 8-9 days.
Well, the previous high was 9 runs at San Francisco.
Troy lathered a double down the left field line and would score on a base hit by Arenado. That's how the Rockies got their run in the first. Here's the 1-0. Three on the left side for Troy. Big gap in right center. And it's 3-0. Morneau will be next.
Tried this a couple nights ago. They did the same shift and they pitched him away, and he hit it that way.
Swinging 3-0, no surprise there, and Troy just got underneath it. Peralta will make the catch, and a 1-2-3 third inning for Josh Colmender. Arizona 2, Rockies 1, middle of 3. this tweet out. On this day in 2007, Tulo recorded the 13th unassisted triple play in Major League history. Remember it well. Off the bat of Chipper Jones. Runners going, line drive. And the thing that Troy did is he already had 3 outs. He said, you know what, I'm going to double check. I'm going to go to first. You got 4 outs. That's an unassisted quadruple play. Isn't it amazing? Every time I think back to 07, that it was 8 years ago, and Tulo, you just always think of him as that kid, right?
Right.
Now he's 30.
30s.
Grown-up kid.
Still has the same passion for the game as he had back in 07.
Yeah, that hasn't changed. Enciarte takes a strike. 2-1. Enciarte hit a line drive off the lunging glove of Arenado. Arenado was able to prevent a double in the first, but it was a base hit. This is slowly hit. Jordan Lyles jumps off the mound and retires Enciarte. 1 gone. Chris Owings will be next.
Second baseman, Chris Owings.
You know what pitch Jordan's utilizing more this year, and with great success, is his split finger changeup.
Well, there's enough variation between his fastball speed, which is 92, and the split. So it acts just like a changeup would. He has big hands. He's able to throw it and still command it. And there's a split you were talking about, Drew, how it's gone up. Because you think back to last year, it probably wouldn't even register. It's about 5% of the time.
Nolan spins and on the money throws out Chris Owings. That was routine for him.
What makes it look so routine is the throw. People thinking he's showboating because he's turning around. No, it's where he caught the ball. It's easier. His momentum is going that way. And he's not having to fight to get the shoulder turned.
Well, all infielders, if properly trained from a young age, are taught that. If the ball's behind you, going to your left, it's much easier to spin and throw than trying to reroute the body.
Think about splitting the body in half as you're going. And his glove is behind the half of his body, the left side of his body. So spin and make it look easy.
Paul Goldschmidt, when he first came up, the Rockies did a good job with him. He hit just .242 his first 32 games against the Rockies. 4 home runs, 20 RBIs. The last 19, he has a hit in 18 of them. He's hit .481 with 5 home runs and 26 RBIs. He had a base hit to left in the first inning.
That's why I was joking.
Tell him what's coming, right? Yeah. It can't be any worse, right?
Put the doubt in his mind.
Something humorous going on at home plate. You see the sly grin of Nick Hundley and
maybe
Paul
he just
Goldschmidt.
told him, we're going to throw you a fastball. Wait, are you really? Or is it going to be the split? Curveball? I mean, there's nothing in the rule book that says you can't do it.
Curveball, doesn't matter, does it? I will tell you this, it's not just the Rockies, though. That young man can flat rake. He is so quiet at the plate and so short to the baseball. 2-out single. Trumbo had an RBI hit his first time. He's reached in 16 straight games against the Rockies, and his average in the 370s against the Rockies pitching during those 16.
Don't want a repeat of what happened last night.
This is one of the 10 longest home runs in baseball so far this year.
For concourse in left center field. You're wondering, wait, going over Goldschmidt, big guy? No, he's 4 for 4 in stolen bases.
Big guy who can run.
He's one of those silent stolen base guys. You don't think much about him, but at the end of the season, 15 to 20. You can just put it in the book.
A strike. Trumbo yesterday had 4 hits. He was 4 for 4. He was a double shy of the cycle. It's the 23rd time a Diamondback has finished a double shy of a cycle. He's 9 for his last 13 against the Rockies, including 3 home runs. Got to cool him off at some point. Cargo had the longest of the year for a few days when he hit that 466-footer.
I'm still saying that they couldn't measure that right because it was still going up in the air when it hit the scoreboard.
Not going to get an argument from me. Nelson Cruz officially has the longest now at 483 feet. And that actually came today. How about Hanley Ramirez, by the way? He's got 10 home runs. So ties a Boston record for April. Goldschmidt takes off. Tulo holds his ground, and he does that Tulo thing to throw out Mark Trumbo. So Lyles gives up a hit to Goldschmidt, nothing else across. 2-1 Arizona. We're off to the 4th, and the Rockies will have Morneau to lead things off. All right, Jenny, on the first pitch, Morneau grounds out to Owings to start the 4th inning. Rockies have 3 hits in the ball game, 2 singles and a double. Nolan Arenado, one of those singles that drove in Tulowitzki in the 1st inning. And Nolan takes a fastball at 84 for a strike.
He's probably thinking, man, why did I take that one? But he went up there the whole time looking, saying, I'm going to look at the first pitch.
Yeah, this will be an easy play for Goldschmidt. And very quickly, they're 2 outs.
Well, looking to come out to a game, there's always great Rockies ticket deals available. So bookmark Rockies.com/specials and check back throughout the season. We said hi to those people on the concourse today when we were walking before the game.
Yeah, we always see a fair number of Rockies fans when we're down here in the desert. Close proximity. Here's Cargo, line to right, his first time. That's inside. One of the things that Blake Doyle's been working with Cargo on, and the theme of today's batting practice was 75%. Just slow everything down. Just go 75%. And his BP was really good today. And I thought he had that approach in his first at bat. Here's his BP. There's Blake behind him. And it just kind of relaxed. And, of course, even relaxed, the ball jumps and goes about 440.
And that's the thing that Carlos can realize, that he doesn't need to jump towards the pitcher. Let the ball come to you, and then that'll keep the head still. I remember a hitting coach of mine, he would talk quietly behind the cage. I mean, almost in a whisper. And that would really make you kind of gear down so you weren't so amped up and jumpy. But it was bad when he would say something, you couldn't even hear him. You'd go, what? Speak up, I can't hear you. But he did. He's just nice and calm, tell you what's going on.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 3 on the right side for Cargo. Here's the changeup, and it's really only about a 7-mile-an-hour difference. You'll see a lot of times a 10 or 12-mile-an-hour difference with some guys. But he changeup.
He exaggerates the pronation of the wrist to get the ball to even dive more.
Strike 3. He painted the outside corner. Cargo disagrees, but Marty Foster has the final say. And the Rockies are done in the 4th inning. That's 8 in a row retired by Comenter. It looked off the plate.
Because this is where a lot of the extended spring training Rockies are, including Tony Diaz, who is kind of the supervisor of everything. What's going on with some of these players?
Well, the extended program consists of keeping kids that are getting ready for a short season, got to get them ready for that. Also, players that are ready to go to full season ball, but they're not. We don't have spots for them. And then ultimately to rehab players, regardless of the level that they participated last year, just get them healthy. Those are really the 3 main purposes of this camp.
For instance, for fans, Charlie Culberson has been around because he's got a bulging disc in his back, and I know he's part of this plan too.
Yeah, Charlie's been around. Tyler Chadwood. We've had Marshall. and then Hale was with us earlier in camp. So yeah, again, it serves that purpose to get those guys ready and healthy. But again, one of the main purposes is to get these guys going and make sure that when we after the draft, with our short season clubs, we hit the ground running.
Tony, your job changed a couple of seasons ago, and now we've got some new affiliates and some new people here. So explain that to the fans too.
Well, the affiliates that we have, we switched. We went from Colorado Springs to Albuquerque in AAA. AA, we moved from Tulsa to New Britain. And then in our short season club in Tri-City, now it's going to be in Boise. The remaining of the affiliates are the same. And
you visit them all?
I stay mainly here in extended Grand Junction. I had been to Tulsa and Springs in the past and Asheville. But right now, mainly I stay here in extended, and then I go to Grand Junction when the season starts, and I travel to the Dominican as well.
So, Drew and Jeff, I have to ask him about Rafael Betancourt, who turns 40 today, and last year he was with the Grand Junction Rockies. I mean, I'm sure you were involved in his journey back to the big leagues.
What an amazing journey, and his love for the game is second to none, and obviously a testament to what he's been able to accomplish. But to have him around and to be able to see him get back from his injury, and him going with us on the road trips in Grand Junction and making it back, it's really amazing, and he's quite an inspirational story for all of us and mainly our players.
Yeah, I've got a story coming up later in the game, guys, that Charlie Blackmon tells about Rafael's influence on maybe some of these young players. But hopefully the fans can see some faces here that maybe they'll see down the road.
Well, absolutely. We do have a lot of talent out here, and there's no doubt in my mind that we have a lot of big leaguers out here with us, and that 3-4 years down the road they'll be impacting our major league team.
What was your question, Jeff?
Well, my question is, I'd just like Tony to explain to the fans really a typical day in extended spring and the work they have to do, and then the game that they'll play afterwards.
What's the typical day of a player here in extended spring training? What does that day consist of?
Well, we got them divided in two separate groups. There's a group that plays the game, that they just get ready to play the game, and that the game squad, they do the typical, stretch, maybe an infield, outfield, and then batting practice, and that's it. They get ready to play the game. Then the rest of the players, another group, their day is a little bit different. Every player has an individual player plan, and they work on their specific needs based on what their player plan demands. So those players, their day consists of, they stretch, they go through maybe the defensive portion of the player plan, specific drills that are geared towards their needs, and then the offensive part of that plan. It could be base running, it could be bunting, or as a pitcher, maybe working on a off speed or whatever the case may be. But those guys have a different day. We also have the training center that it's all combined with the work that we do on the field. There's specific exercises that are going to help and accomplish, becoming a better player.
So what time do the games go?
We have 10:30 games on weekdays. Saturdays it's 10 o'clock start, and Sundays are off.
So there you go, guys. Tony Diaz, I know we just saw a double play, which is good for the Rocks. We'll get it back to the booth.
Yeah, Tony does a great job, Mark. Thanks very much. Anthony Sanders is working with him. Anthony's at the ballpark tonight. Anthony's in his third year upcoming as the manager at Grand Junction. And extended spring, people say, well, who's back there? Why aren't those guys playing for one of the other affiliates that's going, whether it be Asheville or Modesto or New Britain or Albuquerque, and sometimes there may not be a spot yet for a young player at one of those places. That doesn't mean that the Rockies don't want to continue to develop, don't like them. Not the case at all.
No, they get it, but they get to still continue to work out. They still are perfecting their craft. If there's an injury, you can send them to Asheville or Modesto. If nothing happens, then they'll go to the rookie ball clubs. They'll split them up between Grand Junction and Boise, depending on their age, because there's some requirements and how many guys you can send if they're 21 and 19. All these rules. But for these young men to be able to every day go out there and still work on it, it's just tremendous. I remember back when I had signed back in the mid-'80s, if you didn't make a club out of camp, you got sent home. There was an extended spring. and now you're sitting for 2.5 months before the short season's opened up.
3-1 on Pacheco, and Jordan drives it to center field, a base hit. So with 2 outs, Pacheco at first in front of Nick Ahmed. I'll give you an example of a guy who a lot of Rockies fans are familiar with, the Regis High School product, Max George, who the Rockies are very, very high on. He had a terrific first year in Grand Junction last year, 5th round pick. He's still a teenager, and he's in extended spring right now. He's getting reps at both short and second and staying sharp before he goes out and plays either for one of the short season teams or perhaps, as Jeff mentioned, if there's a need, in Asheville. Ahmed takes a strike, 0-1.
Just for the record, today the Extended Spring Club, they split with Arizona. They played 2 games, 2 different teams. They went 1-1. So Zach Wilson, who's Senior Director of Player Development, he's been pulling double duty. Go over there in the morning, come here at night.
Yeah, Zach's been busy. It's great to see. Mark mentioned Charlie Culberson, or maybe Tony mentioned that, Charlie's rehabbing down there, and Charlie's been in the clubhouse the last couple days. He was up with the Rockies all of last year. Terrific guy. Good to see Charlie, and glad his back is doing much better. Here's the 1-1, and that's a base hit for Ahmed. And that'll bring up Cole Mentor. Zach Wilson on the left.
Zach will head over to the complex in the morning, watch the games there, come here at night. And then after this trip, he's on his way to Albuquerque.
The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code is RocksWin at papajohns.com. Call that a strike. Set his knees.
Pitcher hitting.
Called a pitch 3 inches off the plate on Cargo. Let's go. 1-0 on Cole Mentor. And that will end the inning. So there was a walk, a couple of hits. There was also a double play. The Rockies' 28th turn this year. Rockies trying to figure out Cole Mentor as we go to the 5th. It's 2-1 Arizona. New Ford F-150. It's not just a truck, it's the future of tough. By Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. 8 in a row retired by Josh Colmenter. Rockies in the 5th inning will have Huntley, Descalso, and Lyles against the native of Homer, Michigan. It's a town of a little more than 1,600 people. Yet in 2004, 2005, they won 75 straight baseball games. In fact, a book was written about their dominance. And that man was part of that great run in Homer, Michigan. It's a pretty good baseball tradition. He went on to play for the Chippewas at Central Michigan. First made famous athletically by, at least in my time, by Dan Marlin.
Thunder Dan, who's the head coach at Grand Canyon College, their basketball team.
And a legend here in the desert. Curveball, a strike on Huntley. He got an infield hit. He hit about 15 feet up the third base line and beat it out. Nick, I know, looking forward to being back in San Diego. Still has a home there. Two and two. Rockies have won 7 of their first 11 on the road.
What you said too, you win this game tonight, you win another series out on the road.
Well, I said it off the top of our portion of the broadcast that the Rockies would win their 3rd road series of the year if they can win here. This ball's in the air to right field. Trumbo's going to have time and room, makes the catch. And the Rockies didn't win their 3rd road series of the season a year ago until that big sweep in mid-June at AT&T Park against the Giants. So they would be, basically 6 weeks ahead of last year's pace. 9 straight retired by Colmenter.
Part of it for Colmenter is his first pitch strikes. He's 10 for 16. He'll make it 11 for 17.
On the inside corner on Descalso. He's hit the edges. Descalso a fly ball to right field, his first time up. Daniels out of Cal Davis, which is an outstanding school in the UC system. About an hour or so from where he grew up. That's up the middle, but stationed there is Ahmed.
Pretty good hands from Ahmed.
Ball came up late, didn't it?
Well, it skipped off the mound, and then he had an in-between hop, caught it closer to the chest. Hit hard. But did you see Ahmed creeping before that pitch was thrown and also hit? He saw where the pitch was going and he anticipated. Just watch Ahmed. Pitch is going, he's already leaning. That allows him to get that extra step and get in position to make the throw. And that's the advantage shortstop and second baseman have over the corner infielders.
Yeah, it wasn't just a creep, it was that crossover which got him, a step and a half closer where the baseball ended up. Subtle thing. That's a great illustration of it. 2 strikes on Lyles. With every challenge called, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And that's strike 3. That's 11 in a row retired by Josh Colmenter. It's a 2-1 ball game, middle of 5. by Arenado, and then with a little help from the Rockies, a throwing error by Daniel Descalso, Arizona scored a couple runs in their half of the first, and we're stuck on that score right now. Rockies tweeted this out earlier. Time to vote Rockies. Make your picks using the Esurance All-Star Game ballot now. Head to MLB.com/vote. And the Rockies are going to have a number of worthy candidates as this first half unfolds. Some guys off to fabulous starts, and you know who they are.
The All-Star Game will be held in Cincinnati this year.
Top of the order in the fifth, Ender Inciarte, a single and a comebacker, and he fouls off Lyle's pitch. It's 0-1, 57 pitches in. Good number so far for Jordan. He's allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. Good changeup. And that's what we were talking about. The difference between his changeup and fastball been, in the neighborhood of 10 or 11 miles an hour. He's 92, 93 with his fastball, and then changeup at 82.
Yeah, and if you could diagram the difference, 10 to me is that magic number. I know people say 8 to 10. I think more of the 10 range, because your bat can't stay in the zone that long to cover the discrepancy in the miles per hour.
Down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Last time here, Jordan had a good start. That's fouled off. Left after 6 innings with a 4-1 lead. He allowed only 3 hits, but the Rockies bullpen unfortunately couldn't hold it.
That was the game they gave up a run in the 8th, a couple in the 9th, and then the game winner in the 10th.
You can see why Inciarte is on that list of toughest men to strike out so far this year in baseball. Those were 2 good pitches.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. It's celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on True HD. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, and more. MLB.TV. Well, again, Inciarte just spreads out, chokes up on the bat, knows what his role is to get on base, and he's not going to overswing.
And he draws a walk. Not a guy you want on, because naturally he runs well. Third walk allowed. Inciarte, toughest man to strike out so far in baseball, by a lot.
And he battled on that last at bat. He had been down in the count 1-2. Fouled a couple pitches off.
He has struck out only 3 times this year.
Well, not only is he a guy that can steal bases, but now they can hit and run with Chris Owings if they want. But the other problem is then you're looking at Goldschmidt and Trumbo, the guys that are paid to drive in runs, and you're not pitching to them with nobody out there. Then the pace of the game slows down. And what does Jordan like? He likes to get the ball. He likes to go. That's what ground ball pitchers do. Keep your defense involved.
Now, Lyles has been terrific at inducing ground balls, particularly from right-handed hitters. Runner going, and it is fouled off.
It was a hit and run.
He has a ground ball rate of 69+% against right-handed hitters.
And that's the highest ground ball percentage in the major leagues. Andrew Cashner second. Dallas Keuchel, who we've mentioned a lot lately. Dylan G, Chris Archer. They round out the top 5.
Yeah, Rockies have already turned a couple of double plays tonight behind Jordan. One started by Tulo and one started by Descalso. There's the bunt. It's a great one. It's going to take a great play by Arenado to get it out. Sack bunt, though quite honestly Owings was bunting for a hit. It's credit for a sacrifice. And Nolan with a marvelous play to get the out at first.
Well, cat-like reflexes to come in, barehand the baseball, off-balance throw out Owings by 2 steps. When you barehand a ball, you have to get underneath the ball, and that's what Nolan did. Make sure that your grass, the back of your hand skims the grass to allow the ball to go into your hand to then make the throw.
And now Goldschmidt, who's 2 for 2 with 2 singles, and he gets a pitch inside. This is going to be a very interesting sequence in this game. There's the pickup.
Yeah, but see where the hands are? The hands are touching the ground, so you work underneath it to make sure that you catch it and you don't have it go off the end of your fingers.
(2-0) on Goldschmidt. It's been virtually impossible for the Rockies to get out. Leads the National League in RBIs. Hitting 20 straight against the Rockies. Actually reached in 20 straight, I should say, against the Rockies.
I would think about
of those.
I would think about putting him on.
Yeah, I thought about that when he came up. You have Trumbo, who's not been a day at the beach either, behind him, but now at this point 3-0. He may very well be swinging. And that ostensibly was the free pass.
Will go down as an intentional base on balls. But you're right about Trumbo. He's driven in his fair share of runs when it sets up the double play.
Friday after the game on Rockies Real Time, we will celebrate officially the 20th anniversary of Coors Field. The construction and evolution of the ballpark to some of the greatest moments on the field. And take a look at all of the things about Coors Field that make it so unique and one of the great ballparks in the major leagues. That's Rockies Real Time Friday after the postgame show from San Diego. Trumbo 1 for 2, a single and a smash to short that Tulo fielded on the backhand side. Trumbo missed a couple of months last year, the stress fracture in his foot. Home run total held to 14. 6 of those came against the Rockies. Now it's 2-0.
Keep Inciarte close at second. Don't let him get a walking lead.
High fly ball, deep left field. Dickerson near the corner makes the catch. And both runners are going to tag and move up.
Well, it's a good thing that there's an extra 12 to 15 feet where he made that catch. The wall is juts backwards towards the bullpen. High fly ball now. You see right at the Gila River side. Lyles is trying to point and be a traffic cop, saying throw it to third. No, wait, there's a guy going to second, but Corey did the right thing. Make sure you catch that ball first, because you're not going to be able to throw either one of those runners out.
Now you're not out of the woods, because Peralta has swung the bat very well, and he's not had a pitch to hit tonight, or at least a pitch that he's put in play. He's walked twice. So Lyles has been careful with Peralta. And Ciarte at third, Goldschmidt at second. 3 on the right side for Peralta. Sliders low. You have first base open. You could go right on right with Yasmani Tomas, who he's gotten to hit it on the ground twice, once for a double play. In terms of matchups, that would be the preferable guy. And that's called a strike.
Well, wasn't going to give in through the 2-0 changeup. Might be another incentive to be careful with Peralta.
3-1.
Well, Peralta pulled a pitch yesterday for a home run, and that was inside and up. It's the Ford strike zone, everything being pitched away.
And Lyles.
I don't have a problem with that walk.
Yeah, Lyles again basically passes on Peralta. 3 walks in the inning. Bases are loaded for Yasmani Tomas. And you can see Peralta trying to fire up his young teammate Tomas as he headed to first. 2 outs. Still a 2-1 ball game, bottom of 5.
The 2 double plays. The first one, he hit the ground ball to Troy, and it was a step on second, throw to first. The other double play in his last at bat was the ground ball to Daniel at second for the 4-6-3 double play. Now you just needed ground ball to get the force out at any bag.
Tomas 2 for 8 in the series. 6'2", 255 pounds. He's a big dude. And the fastball misses. Hard ground ball, base hit. It's going to score 2. Yasmani Tomas makes it 4-1 Arizona.
Tomas had his first Major League RBI last night. Tonight, 2 more to make it 3. Inside out swing. Playing him to pull the ball more, and he shoots it to the right side.
Pacheco lined a single to center his last time. He's 1 for 2. Well, you pitched around Goldschmidt, you pitched around Peralta, but the inning started with Ciarte walking, and that's the one that hurts.
Because if he's not on, maybe you pitch to Goldschmidt. You'll pitch to him differently.
Pacheco hits this a long way left center field. Dickerson hoping for a play. He doesn't have one. It's a 3-run home run from the ex-Rocky, George Pacheco. And now Arizona has a big lead. Lyles hasn't given up many home runs. He just gave one up to Pacheco, his first of the year.
And the first home run that Jordan has given up this year. Tried to sink a fastball under the hands of Pacheco. And he just fired the hips and brought the barrel through.
It's now a 5-run inning. 2-1 a few minutes back. Nick Ahmed. One and two. The Rockies starters have walked 58 hitters. That includes the 5 tonight. That's the most of any staff in baseball. Their bullpen, by contrast, has walked only 19, which is tied for the 7th fewest, or 6th fewest, I should say, in baseball. So the pen is doing a good job not putting guys on. The rotation has flirted with a lot of danger in putting so many guys on. And Lyles, again, there were a couple pitch rounds there, but the walk to Inciarte, and then, you know, when you have a lot of traffic out there, you're bound to give up runs.
Well, and for Jordan, the 5 walks ties a season high that he had just 2 starts ago at LA. He also had 5 in that game.
Blackman makes the catch. 5-run inning for Arizona, highlighted by Jordan Pacheco's 3-run shot. Yeah, Padres going through a rough period right now. The Rockies just had a rough inning, Jenny. They're now down 7-1. Colementer's been outstanding, and that bunt was trying to stay fair for Charlie Blackman.
There's about an 8-inch gap between the grass and the dirt, and once it hit the lip of the grass, it just kept spinning to the left and left of the line. If you're looking at it from Charlie's angle, right from Tomas's angle, I thought it was going to be a perfect bunt when he laid it down.
11 in a row retired by Comenter. The Rockies have a run on just 3 hits. And now they have an enormous deficit, down 6 runs. But there's time. This is off the end of the bat, shallow center, and Ciarte outruns the baseball. That's 12 in a row set down by Comenter. Our first bank game recap. Rockies got a run at the top of the first. Arizona got 2 in the bottom of the first, and then the 5-run bottom of the 5th inning. That was Monty Tomas, a 2-run, 2-out single, and then Jordan Pacheco's first home run of the year on the first home run given up by Jordan Lyles this season. Dickerson 0 for 2, strikeout and a fly ball to center field. And Dickerson lines it to the corner in right, and Corey is going to end up at second with a double. So that ends the string of 12 in a row retired by Comenter, thankfully. And Tulowitzki will come up. Yeah, Jeff, you've been in these situations. You just got to keep grinding offensively.
Well, because of the bullpen situation for the Diamondbacks, how they had to roll through so many guys last year. I know they added, or last night, excuse me, I know they added Enrique down there, but still they ate up some innings.
Well, both teams in the same situation. Both teams needed length out of their respective starters. Tulo had a double in the first inning. He's got 13 extra base hits, trailing only Matt Carpenter and Adrian Gonzalez. And that's a base hit. Dickerson is going to run through what may have been a stop sign. He's out by a bunch.
And he did. Stu was holding him up. And there's nothing Stu could do short of throwing a lasso out and corralling him.
David Peralta, who probably has the strongest arm of the 3 outfielders. He's a former pitcher in the Cardinal organization. You're down by 6 runs. You can't risk getting thrown out here.
And Peralta comes up with the ball, and Corey's not even there. I mean, why are you looking back over your shoulder? That's a cardinal sin of base running. That's why you have the third base coach. Don't look over your shoulder. He's holding you up, but how can you see if he's stopping you if you're not looking at him?
Don't want to beat up Corey, but
no.
You described it perfectly. He looked everywhere but the one guy he needed to be looking at. Walt wondering if the plate was blocked. I don't know.
I think he might be saying that he slid in before the tag. He's not blocking the plate, but did the right foot touch?
You know, the ball beat him by so much. Yeah. You're right. You just assumed he was out. But it was much closer upon looking at it now. They're going to review this. Let's see that lead toe. We're not going to be able to tell from that angle when the tag was applied. Well, maybe we can. I don't know.
Well,
this is a Subaru review. Whether you're on the road or at the game, everybody could use a second set of eyes.
They could also be looking, did Pacheco block the bag once he caught her the plate? Doesn't give him a lane to slide into. He has to go around him.
Man, it's close. And the trouble is, we had one of these the other day. If that's what they're looking at, is it enough to overturn it?
But now I'm starting to think more of a blocking issue. You're challenging the collision.
We've been told And they're still saying he's out. They were challenging whether it was a violation of the blocking, the collision rule. So the call stands. It's a base hit by Tulowitzki, and Dickerson's thrown out. 7-2 by Peralta. 2 outs. And I don't know what else as a catcher he's to do. I mean, he's sliding, he's moving
you're
across
catching the ball,
with his foot.
you're applying the tag.
This ball's hit to deep left by Morneau, and a terrific catch by Peralta. He made a terrific throw a moment ago, and the Rockies swung the bats better that inning, but they don't have a thing to show for it. 7-1 Arizona, middle of 6. To Cole, who is holding him up, thrown out at the plate by Peralta. And now as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, Jordan Lyles is out of there and Scott Oberg takes over. It'll be the 6th appearance for Oberg. So Lyles gives up 7 runs in 5 innings. 6 of the runs were earned, 8 hits, 5 walks, and 1 strikeout.
And the first time this year that Jordan has not pitched at least 6 innings. It'll be up to Oberg to eat some innings up, but also to keep this game where it is right now. Don't allow the Diamondbacks to tack on anymore.
Comenter, a couple ground balls to the left side. One ball, 1 strike.
I saw that tweet from a moment ago. Lou Gehrig got a $1,500 signing bonus. I knew we had something in common.
Same thing you got.
That's about it. Same amount for signing.
Money well spent in both cases. And Colementer's gone. 1 out. Oberg strikes out Comenter. Ender Inciarte. Single, a comebacker, and a walk. His walk started that rally leading off last inning. Curveball for a strike. The Rockies, by virtue of their solid start, came into this ball game 11-9. This is the final game in the month of April for the Rockies. Tomorrow's an off day, and Friday's May 1st. So the Rockies guaranteeing themselves of another winning April. Last year they were 16-13. 2013, 18-11. They were 500 in 2012 at 11-11. And back in 2011 they were 17-8. So it's going to be, look at it, it's going to be another solid start in the month of April for the Rockies, and now they'll have to build on that.
You also played 15 games within your division in the month. Well, you come up and in. It's not where Oberg wanted to throw that pitch. Let's go buzzing the tower.
Strike three. 2 outs. That'll be the challenge going forward, and it is for every team. You get off to a good start, great. You gotta build on it. I know one thing that Steve Foster is going to be, he's been doing it already, working with his rotation. They've got to minimize the walks. Got some talented young pitchers. Lyles is in that group of talented young pitchers. He's been in the big leagues for a while. He's still only 24. On limiting the free passes. And I think Eddie Butler's last couple of starts done a better job of that, for example.
Well, and if you limit the free passes, you'll stay later. You'll pitch into the 7th innings. That'll take the stress off the bullpen.
It all works in tandem.
Yeah, and that's why it's called a team.
Outside 2-0 on Owens.
Want to get ready for the first fireworks show of the year on Friday, May 22nd. Tickets are going quickly, so get yours today at Rockies ticket outlets, including Rockies.com. The first fireworks night of the year, Friday, May 22nd.
And it's 3-0 on Chris Owens. Sack bunt his last time up. Three and two.
And Scott had shook to the slider. Pitch he wanted to throw. Gets a sign again.
Got him on a slider, struck out the side. So Scott Oberg with an impressive 6th inning. We move to the 7th. The Rockies trail 7-1 here in the desert. The 7th inning. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout. It's time for our clutch play, brought to you by Mako. There for you in the clutch. Visit Mako.com to find a center near you. David Peralta cuts down Corey Dickerson with a perfect throw. That was last inning. Rockies are trying to put together a rally. And they'll do it again here in the 7th inning. Cole Mentor's still out there. And why not? He's allowed just to run on 5 hits. Nolan Arenado hits a towering pop. Nick Ahmed will call off Tomas, and right in front of the first row of fans, he makes the catch, and Arenado is the first out in the 7th inning.
Well, 16 of 23 first pitch strikes for Cole Mentor. 5 ground ball outs with that pop up. 9 flyouts, 4 strikeouts.
Cargo lined to right and was called out on a pitch a few inches off the plate, so he's 0 for 2. I want to take you back to December 14th of 2007. Carlos Gonzalez was one of the top young prospects in all of baseball. Certainly was the #1 prospect of Arizona. And Arizona desperately wanted to improve their starting rotation. They targeted Dan Herron in his prime, one of the true aces at that point in baseball. They traded Cargo, Brett Anderson, yeah, that Brett Anderson, Chris Carter, who's slugger now for Houston, Aaron Cunningham, Dana Evelyn, who could really bring it, and Greg Smith, who was a Rocky briefly. That's fouled off. All to Oakland for Dan Herron and Connor Robertson.
All the guys they traded over to Oakland made the big leagues.
They all made the big leagues. Obviously, Cargo's had a great career. Brett Anderson a couple years ago, Oakland's opening day starter. Dana Evelyn's been solid. Carter hits a ton of home runs. 2-2.
This is a swing that Cargo attempted to hold up.
And I think you saw him release the hands, and
So
that's so he didn't hurt his wrist.
Exactly, Drew. Nope. Just keep going. Just drop the bat after.
2-2 on Carlos, who of course came to the Rockies in the Matt Holliday trade.
The game plan that Blake and Carlos put together, I like. A simpler approach.
And that ball to Goldschmidt. Two outs, nobody on. Nick Hundley will take his turn.
Want to spend Mother's Day at the ballpark? You can do that on Sunday, May 10th. Get a family photo taken by the team photographer right on Coors Field. Visit Rockies.com/mom to purchase a special ticket package for your on-field photo. Sunday, May 10th, the game against the Dodgers.
Nick Hundley, a product of the University of Arizona down in Tucson. Nick had an infield hit. He's 1 for 2. Cole Mentor's done his thing. I mean, we broke down what he does at the very top of the broadcast. Blake Doyle is telling us about the game plan tonight against Cole Mentor, but you look up, there's 2 outs, nobody on the 7th inning, and Cole Mentor has fashioned himself a terrific outing. 1 run on 5 hits.
And there's some guys you'll go into the game and you end up being 0 for 3 or 0 for 4, and he dominated you. And you think, okay, he got me tonight. Cole Minter's the type of pitcher, when you go 0 for 3, 0 for 4, you ask yourself each and every time, how the heck did he get me out? These are the sleepless nights. You'll sit there and go, man, I had a pitch to hit, and I didn't do anything. I popped it up. I rolled it over. Weak ground ball. These are the frustrating ones.
No swing. You want to grind your way to a victory sometimes against a guy like this, and of course you have to do your part on the other side. And that fifth inning, it was a 2-1 ball game. You're saying, okay, we haven't done much with Cole Minter, but they haven't done a lot with Lyles. And then that inning got away from the Rockies. A couple of 2-out hits, one being the 3-run home run from Pacheco. So it's a big lead for Arizona as we go to the bottom of the seventh.
And I can see Rafael Betancourt celebrating his 40th birthday today, coming back from Tommy John surgery. Got some of the guys to talk about number 63. We start with Charlie Blackmon.
Funny story is Rafi is big on contrast, like with cold water, hot water with his arm, help his arm recover, and get a little older, you got to figure out how to make that arm feel good. So he's doing that every day in spring training. Next thing I know, I come in and he's got all the minor league guys are in there, like laying down, got their arm in the tank. It's really an influence on the other players.
The guys definitely got the experience to influence some of the players, maybe some of the extended guys that we saw earlier today.
Yeah, he's been terrific for a long period of time. This is hitting the air to Cargo, and the Rockies will finally get Paul Goldschmidt out, 2 for 2 and a walk. So Rafi turns 40. Who else is in that group right now? Well, at the top of the list is LaTroy Hawkins. We have a story to tell about him momentarily. Bartolo Colon's doing great for the Mets. Ichiro is ageless, it appears. R.A. Dickey, only knuckleballer to win a Cy Young Award. Joe Nathan, who's down for the year with a blown out UCL, Tommy John surgery. Koji Ihara of Boston, their closers 40 plus. It's the new 30.
Whatever it is, these guys are still plugging along. The only position player is Ichiro. The rest are pitchers.
Well, we told you there was a story about LaTroy Hawkins. Made my major league debut 20 years ago today. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. Seems like yesterday, and I haven't changed a bit. With a couple exclamation points. You know what? He really has it. Cubs, Giants, Orioles, Rockies, Yankees, Astros, Brewers, Angels, Mets. And, of course, the Rockies a couple of times. That makes for a lot of managers, coaches, trainers, and teammates. And he is one of the best teammates. All you have to do is pull guys in that clubhouse. Huey, he truly hasn't aged a whole lot, has he?
Well, and look at the form. The form hasn't changed.
20 years later. He literally made his debut 20 years ago today. Tulowitzki throws out Trumbo. And that'll bring up David Peralta. Of course, LaTroy right now is on the disabled list, but he is traveling with the club. Walt's going to do a double switch here. Bring in Christian Friedrich. We'll sort it out when we come back. The Rockies trailed the Diamondbacks 7-1. 2 outs in the 7th inning, nobody on. Here, when he's in, Blackman's usually in right field or left when Cargo's playing. Drew's going to play right field. Blackman's going to stay in center, and Christian Friedrich is going to pitch right now to David Peralta.
It's been 4 days since Christian has been out on the mound. That was against San Francisco at just a third of an inning.
Good job by Scott Oberg. He retired all 5 hitters he faced, including striking out the side in the 6th inning. One ball, one strike on Peralta.
It's good to see Scott go out and do his thing. A couple of games where he's given up some home runs, but in between, he's pitched very effective.
Center field, and nobody's out where that ball's hit. Peralta into second with a double. So he's 1 for 1, 3 walks tonight.
4th double of the season for Peralta. Fastball, allowing him to extend the arms. Couple hops off the wall.
Yasmani Tomas, the biggest hit of this game from my standpoint. 2 outs, bases loaded. Rockies had pitched around Goldschmidt and Trumbo, and that's lined to right. That's a base hit. That'll score another run. And Tomas has 3 RBIs tonight. He had that 2-run single to right. to make it 4-1. Break up what was a close game.
Now we'll have Cliff Pennington.
They take Tomas out probably anyhow defensively.
And that's why you go ahead and pinch run Cliff Pennington. Still again an inside out swing from Tomas. Peralta trots home.
Well, Jordan has always swung the bat well against his former club, the Rockies, but that 3-run home run he hit in the 5th inning was the first time he'd gone deep against the Rockies. Jordan made the Diamondbacks this year as a super utility guy who can catch. They were carrying 3 catchers. Then Laird went down, Gerald Laird, and Jordan became exclusively the backup catcher, which you say, well, that's a good thing, right? Well, not exactly, because with only 2 catchers, you can't pinch hit Jordan, and his best attribute is his ability to hit. So he just has to wait for those days when Chip Hale says you're going to catch today. So he didn't catch the first 2 ball games. His first appearance is tonight as the starting catcher in Game 3 of the series. Tonight's T-Mobile game changer. 5th inning, it's 4-1, and Pacheco hits a home run to left center field. Doesn't hit a ton of home runs. Sprays line drives, typically gap to gap. First home run of the year. It's first home run Lyles had allowed.
But with that home run, he might start taking some at-bats away from Tuffy.
Well, I was starting to get there because, and I mean this with all due respect to Tuffy Gozwich, but it's not like Miguel Montero, where clearly, okay, Miguel's your number one guy. I mean, Tuffy Gozwich is still trying to establish himself in the big leagues, and offensively, it's not even close in terms of what Jordan has already done in his career. He just hasn't caught every day.
No, but the other problem that Arizona has had up until the last couple of games is the bottom part of their lineup. I mean, their OPS between the bottom 3 guys is the Major League worst. Coming into the series, it was at 486. And conversely, for the Rockies, they were up in the 780s for OPS. In your 6th, 7th, and 8th spot.
Looked like he went, and that'll end the inning. So Friedrich strikes out Pacheco. In the inning, there was a double by Peralta with 2 outs, and then the single by Tomas. 8-1 Arizona. Next, here's the schedule in the month of May. Tomorrow, as we close April, is an off day in San Diego. Padres over the weekend. Padres have struggled of late. They're not scoring runs. Got beat up again today by Houston. And then the Rockies will come home. Arizona will be there for 3. Another off day, and then the Dodgers will be in. And then when the Rockies head west, they'll take on the Angels and the Dodgers. Changes. Cliff Pennington is at third. A.J. Pollock's in center. And Inciarte moves over to right field. Trumbo comes out. Comenter facing Descalso. Daniel is 0 for 2. Waits on the curveball, fouls it off.
86 pitches here in the 8th inning for Comenter. 59 strikes.
Well, unless the Rockies produce a huge rally, Comenter in his last 8 starts, this is coming into tonight, he had made 5 starts and 3 relief appearances against the Rockies. Arizona had won all 8 of those ball games, so may make it 9 in a row. Came into tonight with a 1-3 record and a good ERA at 3.65. Had that complete game shutout in San Francisco. The only one in the National League so far this year.
It also only walked 3 total guys in the 24 2/3 innings in those 4 starts.
Yeah, hasn't come close to walking anybody tonight. Rockies have had only 3 base runners since the first inning. Stubbs on deck after the double switch. It's 8-9 and 1. And that's strike 3 on Descalso. 5 strikeouts tonight for Comenter.
That's a big curveball. Out of the hand, over the top, and drop it in. Came out of the hand looking as though it was a fastball up. You lay off it, and then it drops in.
First pitch strike on Stubbs. Drew may be going through the toughest time in his career. Saw the numbers, 0 for 19 to begin. It's a carryover from the second half of March. He actually got off to a good start in spring training this year. Really good start. Hit a couple long balls first week, 10 days of spring training, but hit a real tough patch the final couple of weeks. A ton of strikeouts, and unfortunately, as you know, if you've been following the Rockies, it's carried into the month of April.
Yeah, 11 strikeouts in the 19 at bats. But all it takes is one swing.
Changeups inside, 2-2. Two outs, and Blackman will come up.
The first 7,500 fans through the gates on Monday, May 4th, will receive Rockies Rewards coupons with offers from Papa John's, Floyd Barbershop, Rio Grande Mexican Restaurant, New Amsterdam Vodka, The Tavern, the UPS Store, and Uber. Tickets for this game are available at any Rockies ticket outlet.
Charlie's 0 for 3. We showed that forward strike zone throughout the evening, and obviously the first 2 pitches nowhere close to the zone, but you'd be hard pressed to find many pitches that Comenter has thrown in the middle third of that forward strike zone.
He's used the quadrants both up and down, in and out. We talk about pitching to quadrants. Go here, go away, go back in there, go down. Most of his have hit where the Pacheco is lined up. Ow.
Yep, Charlie fouled that off his leg, and every time a guy puts on one of those ankle protectors or calf protectors or shin protectors, you'll end up fouling a ball off a spot where you're not protected, and that came up near his knee.
Well, the only piece of equipment that would have helped that would have a catcher shin guard on. As high as he hit it, that's the only thing that would help.
Rockies go in order again in the 8th inning. That's 7 straight retired by Comenter. 8-1 Diamondbacks.
Birthday. He's imparting some wisdom to Jorge Rondon. Talking to some of the Rocks about him. I got to do a conversation with Tulo about how competitive he is, and Troy continued with this about Rafael.
The way I tell people about Rafi is at night when I'm driving home, whether we won or lost, it's always nice when Rafi's in the game because you never question anything because he does everything he possibly can to prepare for that day.
Drew, Jeff, that is high praise from Tulo about Rafael Betancourt, but I'm not surprised.
No, I mean,
yeah, they think alike.
Well, we've described this many times. Rafael Betancourt is a pro's pro, and Tulo is wired the same way. Boone Logan is now in the ball game. Nick Ahmed is at the plate.
I'm thinking Boone Logan, isn't he your late inning guy? On the plus side, well, he hasn't pitched since the 24th. So 5 days off. You have tomorrow off, and here we go again.
What are you talking about?
The Nolan diving, making a play.
Oh, you didn't expect him to make it?
No, I did, but every night.
I already marked it in the book.
When it's hit in that direction, why not? Dive, get up, shuffle, strong arm, out by 2 strikes.
Aaron Hill's going to pinch hit for Cole Mentor, so his evening's done. 8 terrific innings from Cole Mentor. Allowed a run on 5 hits. It went to third against the Rocks, and you were dead. I don't know about dead, but you're out. One ball, 1 strike. (102 pitches tonight for Cole Mentor.
70 strikes.
Milwaukee got a rare victory, beat Cincinnati tonight 8-3. Ryan Braun a pair of home runs. Adam Lind his 4th. Chris Davis his 1st. Oh, another chance for Nolan. What do you got?
Spin on the baseball.
That'll be an infield hit.
It's like those old Super Balls as you had as a kid with going off the plate. You just throw it down as high as you can and as hard as you can, see how high it'll go. That's what this ball did. But enough English when it hit the grass. Right turn.
Ciarte up for the 5th time. A single, a comebacker, a walk, and a strikeout. A couple runs scored. Washington, after coming from behind and beating Atlanta 13-12 yesterday, they hit 13 again, but they had to come from behind, but it was only a 2-0 deficit this time. They win 13-4. Denard Span hit his 2nd. Jordan Zimmerman got the victory there for Washington. That's a strike. Miami beat the Mets 7-3. Cologne lost for the first time this year. He's 4-1. Giancarlo Stanton hit his 6th. Ichiro, we were talking about him earlier, hit his 1st of the year. Michael Kadai, our old friend, hit his 2nd home run of the year. Pittsburgh won at Wrigley today 8-1. Jerry Cole's now 4-0. Cardinals, they won 5-2. Carlos Martinez is 3-0. Trevor Rosenthal his 8th save already. Ryan Howard hit his 4th home run. Bottom of the 5th inning, the Dodgers leading the Giants tonight 7-3.
Jock Peterson had a 2-run home run in that game.
That's his 4th. Jimmy Rollins hit his 2nd. Adrian Gonzalez hit his 8th. And Andre Ethier hit his 3rd. So 4 home runs from Los Angeles tonight at Dodger Stadium. Mentioned in interleague play, Houston over San Diego. They complete the sweep 7-2. Rockies heading to Petco Park to begin a series there on Friday. They'll go to San Diego right after the ball game. 1-2. Ciarte hits this a long way to center, but Charlie's going to get back there. Chris Owings coming up. Who wants tacos? Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. American League, in 13 innings, Tampa beat the Yankees 3-2. I was looking at the 13th inning. 3-2 Tampa over the Yankees tonight. Chris Young kind of resurgent. He hit his 5th home run. Former Arizona Diamondback for the Yankees. Chase Headley, former Padre, and grew up in Fountain, Fort Carson, with his 3rd home run. That'll be a base hit in front of Drew Stubbs for Chris Owings. And that'll get Paul Goldschmidt to the plate with 2 outs here in the 8th. Detroit beat Minnesota 10-7.
Puts Detroit at 15-7.
Miguel Cabrera hit 2 home runs in that ball game.
I heard he can hit.
Yeah, the first guy to tell me that was his good friend Carlos Gonzalez, and they're the 2 biggest current stars from Venezuela. Talk about not being able to go anywhere in your home country. Both live in the United States year-round. Cargo and Miguel Cabrera, 2 good friends. And around the batting cage today, said Miggy went deep twice, and then he turned around and pretended to swing like Cabrera.
I think he has more fun talking about Miggy and his hitting ability than anything.
1 ball, 1 strike on Goldschmidt. Baltimore, we mentioned this earlier, obviously without a crowd there this afternoon, beat the White Sox 8-2 as Ubaldo Jimenez allowing just 3 hits. He's now 2-1. Jeff Samardzija took the loss. Good slider from Boone. Chris Davis is 5th. Manny Machado his 4th for the Orioles. Boston and Fenway beat Toronto 4-1 tonight. Porcello his 2nd victory. R.A. Dickey took the loss. Koji Ohara got the save. Hanley Ramirez 10 home runs now. Boy, can he hit. I mean, that's off the plate. Stubbs' throw to the plate is not quite in time. The slide by Hill just did beat the tag. Very good throw from Stubbs. It's another RBI for Goldschmidt, his league-leading 20th. That was a good pitch.
His 3rd hit tonight. What makes Goldschmidt so dangerous is that he can take pitches that are off the plate. That wasn't a strike and hit it hard. Some guys can hit a pitch that's not a strike, but they don't do any damage with it. They'll put it in play, but that was a rocket.
This is A.J. Pollock hitting in the spot that was occupied by Trumbo. Pollock came in defensively last half inning. Stubbs waiting in right. He's got it. That ends the inning. A run on 3 hits. It's 9-1 Arizona as we go to the 9th. Lines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price and sales and service guaranteed. And by the Lodge Casino, it's not only your first choice for winning, it's also your first choice for fun. Lodge Casino. No fun tonight for the Rockies. In the 9th inning, they trail 9-1 in the desert against the Diamondbacks. To our Denver studios, and Jenny Cavnar and Ryan Spilborghs. Jenny. Tonight, puts your offense, and I know the offense hasn't done much tonight, but it puts your offense in a box. You don't win many games when you're giving up 21 runs in 2 games.
No, and you gave up the run. You had an unearned run with the throwing error, allowed that, and then the big blow by Jordan Pacheco. Yeah, you fall behind that much. Your offense just, it's really tough to try to come back from that. And, of course, Colementor tonight pitched pretty effective.
He was very effective. He pitched the first 8 innings, and now the guy who got called up when Archie Bradley was placed on the disabled list today, Enrique Burgos, and he was closing games in Double-A Mobile and doing a good job. 6 saves, which was tied for the highest mark in the minor leagues, in fact.
A native of Panama City, Panama.
Well, he can run his fastball up to triple digits. Dickerson, Tulowitzki, Morneau. One fastball at 96. Corey doubled in the 6th inning. For Dickerson, his 4th double. Finishing that American League scoreboard, Cleveland beat Kansas City 7-5 tonight. Hosmer's second for Kansas City. Kipnis is first for Cleveland. Perez third for Cleveland. Felix Hernandez won today, 5-2 Seattle over Texas. Ball hit a long way the opposite way, and Peralta's there again. King Felix 4-0 as Seattle beat Texas 5-2 in Arlington. Nelson Cruz hit his 10th home run for Seattle, the major league leader, with now Hanley Ramirez.
How long did that game take? Because last time King Felix pitched, it was 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Let me let you know. Tulowitzki 2 for 3 tonight, a double and a single, and he scored the Rockies' only run. The game took 3:05 tonight. Seventh inning in Oakland, 3-3. The A's and Angels tied up. Mike Trout's homered, his 5th. He plays for the Angels here.
Yeah, the Rockies will see him in 12 days. 13 days, May 12th, when they head out to Anaheim, part of the Anaheim-LA road trip.
On the ground at third. Pennington throws out Tulowitzki. 2 outs in the 9th. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Justin Morneau, 7-game hitting streak on the line. He reached on an error in the first, ground ball to second, and a deep drive to left. Peralta made a terrific over-the-shoulder catch. And his hitting streak will die at 7 as the Rockies fall 9-1 tonight to the Diamondbacks. So the Diamondbacks win the series 2-1. Josh Colementor gets his 2nd victory of the year. He goes 8 innings, allowing a run on 5 hits. Jordan Lyles suffers the loss. Lyles is now 2-2. Again, the final score: Arizona wins it 9-1.